Hi, I'm Zana. I'm the Partner Account Manager at Pupil Progress. I work really closely with our PiXL schools around data analysis and really drilling into assessments post mocks. One of the questions I'm going to be working through today is how can we be really precise with our intervention groups? How can we be really targeted with the students that we are putting into the interventions? For that, I'm going to use the methodology around QLA and topic summaries using the Pupil Progress platform. If you are a leader of English and Maths, you already have access to Pupil Progress at zero cost. And if that's not something that you're utilizing at the moment, then it's definitely worth signing up. Hopefully, by the end of this session, you will sort of get an insight of that. If you are a leader of a different subject, the methodology of us drilling into data it remains the same. So if you're not using Pupil Progress, we can still follow these steps to ensure that our intervention groups are precise and targeted. Pupil Progress is a whole school solution, so it's definitely something that you can look into as well to get access to it for your subjects as well. For my example, I'm going to run through an English tracker. The features will remain the same. So even though we are an English tracker, the steps that we're taking to drill down into this data is relevant whether we are a leader of maths, science, and so on. So my students have just set an assessment. We've got our results for paper one, and I could start actually at the QLA here. So I could open up this unit, have a look at how my students have performed across the paper, identifying specific areas that maybe we need to focus on as a class. For instance, question 4, critical evaluation. And on average, my students are getting a grade, a mark of 6 out of a total available marks of 20. So in fact, this is a really good example of something that we might want to address as a class. It could be that this is one of the questions that we structure as a walk-in talking question. So looking through the way that you would answer this question and breaking down that structure in the class. Or we could look at the topic summary areas as well. So if I close this unit and open up my topic summary, I get a percentage of marks achieved when these topics have been asked in assessments for each individual student, and then again that average that we've got at the top. So looking at the average across the top, we might identify that AO4 is the area that we've got the most potential growth here as the smallest percentage so far. And the important thing here to decide is this an area that we need to reteach in class? Is this something that needs to be a worked into the lesson plan? Is this something that may be able to be addressed via home learning? Or do we need to build intervention groups based on the data that we're seeing here? So 30% overall. Maybe some of our students are actually doing really well in AO4, and we've got sort of the bottom 10% of students that are pulling down this average. We can filter our students from highest to lowest or lowest to highest to see where are we at with this. Is this something that we need to readdress in class? Is this something that an intervention group might be better suited? So half of the students are actually doing really well in AO4. So really it's actually the other half that needs some support in this area, whether that's homework or an intervention. If we're building an intervention, we might decide what that criteria is. So are we going to go for the bottom 10% of students in this area, or are we going to tag every student that's got less than 50% of the marks for this topic? That's the example I'm going to use. I'm going to tag all the students that have got less than 50% in AO4. To do that, whether that is your own internal system that you're using to flag intervention groups, or you can build them out on Pupil Progress using the tagging feature. So I can create a tag for AO4 so that we know that we are building an intervention based on that area. And then we can tag all the students that require that intervention. Once these students have been tagged, we are able to keep track of this. So first of all, filters and bringing up our intervention group, which is essentially live at all times. So we've got a good view of who are the students that needed support in AO4. At this point, it's the investigation. Where is this 10% mark coming from? Where is the 0% mark coming from? Was this struggling to understand the question, or was this a lack of knowledge of that specific area? So around the diagnosis of these results to then understand what best way that you can support your students. But it's also around tracking how your intervention is is working throughout the year. So because we've got these students flagged, throughout the year you can continue taking assessments and continue assessing in these areas, whether you are adding a specific question around AO4 or redoing mocks or redoing PPQs. And we can see, has this percentage increased throughout the year? If it's increased, if we're making improvements here, then we know that our intervention is having a positive effect or a significant effect on the student's performance in this area. Or can we minimize this list? So as soon as a student hits the criteria that we're looking for, 50%, we can remove them from the list. And because we are using a filter and a tag to view them, they'll be removed off the list. We've minimized the list by 3 students because the interventions we put into place has had a significant impact on that student's overall attainment in that area. If we're not seeing much change, if the 11% of those students is not increasing or we are not taking students off this intervention list, then it's around re-evaluating what the methods we are using for intervention, using our PiXL subject packs to support us in these areas as well. This is just one of the ways that we can narrow down the students that we're looking at and use sort of the data to build interventions and build tags. There's a lot of other sort of methods we can use here. So something that you can use if you're an English and Maths lead is actually the PiXL waves. And you can access that in the PiXL members area here through the tools and selecting the most recent snapshot. What that does is add another row of averages on top of your class average for the PiXL cohorts. And then we've also got the compare line that will show how your school's performing versus the PiXL cohort. So for instance, we had flagged AO4 earlier, but actually we've got the biggest gap in AO5 and AO2 against that PiXL cohort. So maybe those are areas that we might want to look into if we're performing under that national cohort. Again, then we can build out our interventions for those specific areas. Which students will benefit the most from intervention in AO5 and how will that affect the overall averages over here? What we can also do is actually take a step back first before narrowing into the data. For instance, we know that a lot of middle leaders are targeted with a specific percentage of students that are 4 and above, and we can see that through the subject analysis area. Here we get sort of headline figures around the amount of students that are off target as a percentage, 1 grade away, on target and above. So how do we get these off target students to 1 grade away, the 1 grade aways to on target, and so on and so forth? It gives us a breakdown of how many students have a minimum target grade that falls within 9 to 4 versus how many are achieving that currently. It gives this percentage of students off target in this bar chart as well. So for instance, if we're concerned about this red bar, we can go to those students directly from this subject analysis area. We also get a grade breakdown. So where we're talking about having 70% of our students at grade 4 and above, the moment I've got 9 in my demo class. So how do I get my 3s to be at a 4 and so on and so forth? And then can I actually drill into this a little bit further around my subgroups? Is there any gaps between my subgroups and their peers? At the moment in my data, I'm noticing a gap in my high priority attainers and in my SEN-E students. These might be areas that I'm going to look into my trackers to support those students specifically. So how do we get our 3s to 4s? We can go into our class and filter for a specific grade. So I've just gone into the off target. I can get rid of that filter and actually go by grade. So I'm going to use my summary grades and my average unit grade, which is the current grade that the student is working at, and filter for all my grade 3 students. So here we've got those students. Again, we can use the PiXL cohort averages to guide us. So for the grade 3s, our biggest gap by far is AO5, and actually those students are doing quite well in AO4. Or we can just use sort of the overarching topics here. So AO2, AO4, and AO5 are going to be our big wins for these students. We can also see how many marks away we are from that 4. So for some of these students, we're actually really close to getting them to a 4. Again, it's building those interventions. So earlier we just used AO4 intervention, but this could be our grade 3 AO5 intervention class or AO3, grade 3 AO2 intervention class, so that we know that we are trying to get into that grade 4 and above. Same with grade 5 and above, rather than looking at our 4s, we look at our percentages of 5 and above and filter out for our grade 4 students. And finally, we've got the student attributes that we can use to filter down a little bit further. So for instance, we could go and look at my high priority attainers because that is a gap that I noticed. And from my high priority attainers, get all the students on view that are currently working off target. So these are my off target or one grade away high priority. So we've got those students here. How can we get those students close to their target? How can we get progression? For some of these students, we've only got a couple marks until the next grade up. Finally, how do we communicate this with our students? We can use our student reports as a way for us to be able to communicate why we are putting students in certain interventions and why it's going to be really beneficial for them to join us, as well as them understanding what their next steps should be as well. So if I download a report from MOL, we can see what we are sharing with students. So at the moment, I'm sharing an average unit grade, which is color-coded amber for being one grade away. Here you could share multiple different things like the minimum target grades, like teacher predicted grades. And MOL can see from the target grid that they are 4 marks away from a 3 and 23 marks away from a 4. They can also see that AO4 and AO5 are their weakest subjects with 10% in critical evaluation and 29% in content and organization. So these are going to be the areas that they want to be focusing on as well. And if they're being asked to be in an AO4 intervention, they know that that's going to have an impact on their overall attainment. So it brings that buy-in and a bit of that responsibility for the student as well to take ownership of their own performance in these areas. And then we also have the QLA, so we can see which questions did we miss out on the most and how can we make up those marks that we're trying to make up to get us to where we need to be. So that's just an overview around using your data and the steps it takes around QLA and topic summaries to be able to find the groups that you want to be really targeted with your interventions. And the idea is actually that the more information we've got, the better that we can be with those targeted interventions and sharing that information with our students. If you've got any questions, if you want to find out more, then please follow the links that are shared with you. We'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you.